So me and Dizzy are currently 3 days out from competing at the British National Canicross Championships. So we thought it'd be a good time to talk about race preparation. So you've picked a goal, you've entered the race, so let's go through a timeline of how we want to be preparing for this race. So 10 or more weeks out is where we want to start our training plan. Now of course here we are talking about targeting a particular race. Could be within a season, but we're not really talking about building into a season here. If you want to check out how me and Dizzy prepared ourselves for the Canicross season, we did a pre-season training series. But depending on the distance, kind of depends on the length of your training program, but it's also dictated by where you're at with your fitness. If you're building up to a new distance, it's going to take you a little longer. But that being said, remember, me and Dizzy train for 5Ks. My training program for this national championship race has been 23 weeks, because when you start getting into the science of it all, being able to run fast requires you to basically grow. Bigger heart, better lung capacity, oxygen transport around the body, and building structures takes time. So my top tip will be get a training plan, or even better, get a coach to help you through it, getting a really nice decent block of training in. Now 4 to 8 weeks out, this is where the bulk of the hard training is going to start happening. If your race, like ours, is in the middle of your season, you may also see races start to creep in at this point, but they are definitely going to be races that you're not targeting, because you're going to be doing plenty of training in the lead up to it. Big sessions like your interval training, your VO2 max sessions, and your long runs get really long. As I said, we train for a 5K event. Our long runs are still 80 to 90 minutes. So 2 to 3 weeks out. In terms of the actual running, this is a really nice little time to have a tune-up race or two. Maybe try racing over the distance would be a top tip, so you know that you are good for it, particularly if you're doing a 5K. Maybe racing a 6, 7, even a 10K, maybe a 10 miler if you're doing a 10K, just to really build on that stamina, make it a nice hard long run for you. Another good idea is to sometimes as well race under the distance that you are doing. So again, if you're doing a 5K, maybe try one of the 3Ks just to really get that speed going. This is also the time to start thinking about your logistics for the race. Running with a dog always adds complications for logistics. Where are you going to stay? How are you going to travel? How are you going to get the dog there? How are you going to arrive on site to make sure the dog's calm? So it's always a good idea to have a really good solid plan to go from a couple of weeks out. That way you can adapt it when things do take you by surprise. Nearly at the top of this hill. Well, hey. No glorious views today. Our last training session before the championship, and that seems to be tradition at the moment. It is done in awful conditions. Actually, the forecast for the weekend looks at least dry. Not bad for us. Probably not ideal for dog racing in general, but not bad for us.
So let's talk a week to 10 days out from your race. Here comes the contentious bit. As humans, there is now nothing more that we can really do to help in that race. All you can do is hurt yourself. You really want to be focusing on taking things a little easier and not having any max efforts. Now, a lot of people 7 days out like to race with the dogs because it really gets the dogs into that racing mentality, really fresh in their mind, particularly if we've got a young dog who's not a seasoned racer like Dizzy is becoming. But as I said before, in my experience last year, we targeted a half marathon, trained for 3 months, did a 10 miler, racing just below the week before, and the course was so awful that I ended up hurting myself, smashing my feet up. I was really worried about Dizzy's feet. He actually came out okay, but it was not ideal. So now, this year, we're not racing the week before anything we're really targeting. So it is a bit of a trade-off. If you can get that race in maybe 14 days before, that could be ideal. So let's talk race day. The big day has finally arrived. Hopefully you've had a nice, quiet, restful week in the lead up to it. Just a few easy runs. And now it is time to execute that logistical plan you put in place a few weeks ago. So think about how you want to arrive on site and when with your dog. If your dog gets a little bit overwhelmed with all the excitement of a busy race site, then perhaps try arriving as late as you possibly can, making sure you've still got time to register and get to the start line. Look at all those deer. Must be 30, 40 of them. Go on, Diz, let's go. Yep. So, speaking of the start line, here is an amazing top tip that I heard a few weeks ago. If your dog does not like all the excitement and noise of the start line, and you've got to form up into your individual start slots, which can be quite a stressful environment, have someone with you who can stand in line for you. Make sure you go and tell the starter that you're just going to go and stand off to the side, take yourself away from all the noise and excitement, but this person is standing in your place in the queue, and you'll be coming in last minute just before your start. I thought that was a brilliant tip for keeping your dog calm, but also making the starters' lives a lot easier and making sure you don't miss your slot. So that's a great top tip. All you experienced racers out there, let me know down in the comments, what is your top race day tip for everyone? Let's talk food and drink. So again, hopefully in your plan, you have built in how you are going to feed and water your dog. We don't want to be feeding a dog 3 hours before a race. So if that means you're going to get up early to feed them, then make sure you plan that. Or if it means you're going to feed afterwards, come on, you've got to go. Yeah, we've got to go over it, Diz. I know it's really muddy. Come on, we've got to do it. It's not lumpy anymore. Come on, let's go. It's just muddy. Oh, so sad. In terms of water, if you're using a pre-run hydration drink, giving that maybe 45 minutes or something before is usually a pretty good idea. Make sure your dog's had enough hydration for the distance you're doing. and for the time of year you are racing. And then that's it, you're going to be off on your race. And the rest is just down to you. My final top tip on this is, it may seem like a lot and a lot of things to think about getting you and your dog ready to race. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. And always remember, it's meant to be fun. You're doing this because it is going to be an amazing experience, an amazing memory of you and your dog at this race. One of the main reasons why I love making these videos, I can go back and watch all the amazing times that me and Dizzy have out running, training for the race. The training is almost just as fun as the actual race. Although Dizzy, standing in the muddy field, will disagree. Good luck for all your racing. If you've got one coming up, again, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what your plans are and where you're racing and how you did. So the last thing we're going to do before the British National Championships is go down Dizzy's favourite quick bit. Ready? Let's go! Yep. Good, go. There we have it. Training, which started in July for the British Championship races, is done. We have nothing left to do. We have a couple of days of rest, and then we are going to take on our first ever BSSF race. We are so excited to go back to Thetford, a place where we have good memories racing, and try and run the best we've ever run. Yeah? You're excited? Okay. If you're going to be there, then make sure you come say hi. Hopefully those race prep tips are going to be useful, going to be good for you. Definitely let us know down in the comments where you're going to be racing and how you get on. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on our biggest race so far, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel, give this video a like, share it away, and then me and Dizzy will see you in Thetford. Hopefully those race prep tips, pardon you,